So it finished 0-0. Not a terrible performance. I think there were just a few things that do need to be, I guess, like ironed out. There are a few things that do need to be improved on. Tosin, Colwell, obviously big losses. Um, but started off the game with exactly the lineup I thought was going to start. Sanchez and goal, Josh, Trevor, Reese James, Cucurella, Enzo Caicedo, Palmer, Neto, Gittins, and Joao Pedro up front. And I think the theme of this game was slow. That was pretty much the theme of this game because when you play a team like Palace, who are going to be defensively like resolute and they're going to be in impeccable shape, you have to be able to move the ball quicker to create chances. You have to move them quicker. You have to move their defensive line quicker. You have to do everything really sharp. Like a lot of what you have to do has to be one touch, two touch, one touch, quick, incisive, one touch, and one of the biggest things we did struggle today was, that progression centrally, especially without Colwell. Because Colwell, like once he gets that ball off the goalkeeper or he gets it off one of the sticks, he's punching that ball into midfield with so much pace and, a lot of accuracy at the time. So then you're able to just discombobulate that Palace, that first phase, that first line of defense. You're able to kind of bypass that. And then you get Palmer centrally. You have Enzo in these little pockets as well. And you're able to, push it out to Neto, Ibn Joao Pedro, and, you're able to create danger. But we started the game off. We had two opportunities, one from the corner from Cucurella's flick. I think Chalobah should have scored. Absolutely. Chalobah should have put that away. Missed it. I don't know how. You were right there. Definitely should have scored. But as the game went on, it just seemed like it was going to be, this game was going to need something really special to break the deadlock. Palace thought they had it as a free kick, and then it was chalked off because Gahi essentially wasn't too far away from the wall set up by Chelsea, and the goal was disallowed. So we caught life over there. But other than that, everything was still very slow, very passive. It wasn't like a terrible performance because we really limited Palace to like maybe 3 shots all game, if anything. So all in all, it could have been better. I mean, Andre Santos he definitely could have composed himself in that position, either composed himself and shot it or just laid it off the Palmer for that left foot hammer. Even Esteval, that chance he blazed over. Could he have potentially let Neto run onto that and smack it in? Potentially, but it's just a very weird, interesting game where it's like we knew what we were lacking and we just couldn't change it. If you had Lavia in this team, you maybe have more of those line breaking passes. You have more of that first phase progression, that first phase build up, and we're not too worried about not having Colwell or Tosin to be able to do that role. So all in all, I think a draw was a fair result. Like I said, we could have definitely been a bit more clinical with some of these half chances we had, essentially. But it's unfortunate, man. You're going to have some of these results. Last season, I believe this game ended 1-1 at Stamford Bridge. Eze scored in that game again. But this time, clean sheet, 1 point on the board. All right, cool, we move. Not the worst thing to happen. Now let's go to some of these guys who had a good game. We have to basically give it to Josh Achampo. We know Josh has a lot of talent. We know defensively Josh, could still have a lot of work to be done on him. He's still very raw, very young, 18 as well. But getting that, that call from your manager, first game of the season against Palace. Mind you, Palace are in a good run of form. They've beaten Liverpool. They've beaten Man City. They just beat Liverpool a couple of days ago. So, and they're not a terrible team. Palace are, structurally, they set up really well. Hughes in midfield. You got the wing backs with Mitchell and what's the guy's name? Can't remember it right now. But they're Munoz. And their midfield is pretty. It's pretty balanced. They play well. You got Eze to play through, Sar. Um, I believe they played Wharton again as well. Wharton was in that starting 11. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Wharton and Hughes. And the midfield. At times in midfield, it felt like we were again bypassed a bit. Enzo Fernandez today was awful, but let me rein it back into Josh. I think he performed excellently. The blocks, the interceptions, and he did hang in there with Mateta. Like any defender going against Mateta, you're gonna have a hard game. So if you got grown men who still can't even take on Mateta like that, how much more Josh Champo? You know, but I think he stood up to be counted on. But that's still a position where we need almost like a specialist to play it. We need someone who can just see the pass and play it. You could tell like Josh, Chaloba, they weren't as confident trying to play those, split in passes at times. They wanted to just play it safe. But if you're gonna play it safe, at least progress the ball a bit forward. The ball just kept getting recycled, right in front of our penalty box. So, but I thought Josh was pretty good. Reece James, good game, excellent game. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Cucurella, I thought had a, decent game. Caicedo, steady. Palmer wasn't really involved in the game as much. Gittins, poor. Neto, okay. Joao Pedro, not enough service. Sanchez, early season, last season, Sanchez is back. Flapping at crosses, almost punching people in the head. You remember that game against Brighton? Punched somebody in the head. Did he concede the penalty for that? Or we conceded from that. But either way, it's just, go shave your head bald and come back, because clearly bald head Sanchez, it's just a different kind of Sanchez, which it's gonna raise the conversation of, is Donnarumma or is it Sanchez? Donnarumma is available, will be an upgrade to this team. Do you pull the trigger on that? That conversation is going to be brought up. But Sanchez, look, he had his shaky moments. We didn't really get punished from it, so that was fine. But all in all, it was just that game. Esteban came in, looked a bit lively, gave us a lot. Definitely could have scored. Andre Santos came in, was pretty okay. Could have won the game for us if he just composed himself with that left foot shot. But I get it. A lot of these guys, Andre Santos, Gittins, Esteval, it's their first game in the Prem for Chelsea. Like, it's a big pressure. You put on that jersey, the weight is on you. You have to perform. But I think once these guys do get just a bit more comfortable, they can play freely. But yeah, we that was the opportunity to win the game. That was it. That Santos opportunity was it to just take all 3 points and keep it pushing. It didn't happen. But you know what? We move. You understand what I mean? It's not all doom and gloom. Delap came on, showed flashes, nice link-up play. Could have gone at the end of a few, half chances. He had a shot that was saved. But he looked good. I think him, Delap and Pedro are going to be super important for us, moving forward. Look, we need Xavi Simons in. We need another option when it comes to those central areas to be able to be adding a bit of flair and, unlock stubborn defenses. And, hopefully this week that deal gets done before we play West Ham. We have West Ham coming up this week, I believe on Friday. We need to wrap that deal up. Good thing for him is he doesn't need a preseason. He's already been playing preseason games and early season games with Leipzig. Even scored and assisted yesterday. So he will be ready to play. And, when you bring in good players like your Estevals, your Palmers, they don't need too long. Good players just understand how to play with each other. Quality just understands quality. You don't need that much time. You're still going to need some time to understand what the manager wants from you. But you add in a Xavi Simons to this team, and all of a sudden, and you bring in a center back that could play that central center back role. Someone to give us that progression from that defensive line. Play the ball into midfield, be confident in the pass you're making, and then we move. But I think at the end of the day, look, 0-0. We got the result. We got a point, clean sheet. We take it, we move. No need to overreact. I've seen online some people talking about Garnacho, bro. Garnacho's not doing shit in this game. Like, there's literally no space to play in. Garnacho is not going to be the one to play in a congested area. Like what are we doing here? He's not good in tight spaces. We all know this. So why will Garnacho be someone that you're looking at to break the defensive blocks of Crystal Palace, bro? Like, are we being daft or are we being stupid? Like, what are we doing here? It is what it is. Palace are a good team. You got to draw. Keep it pushing. But the overreaction, the meltdown, none of that shit is needed, man. Like, next week we go again. We go against a West Ham team that ain't really ready. And then, that's it. Like, that's it. So, 0-0. Could have been a lot better. Could have had more. It is what it is. Quick player ratings, if I had to give it. Sanchez, I don't know, 6. Didn't really do much. Reece James, 7.5. Solid. Josh Champong, I give him an 8.5. Really, really solid performance today. Chalobah, I think he should have scored that goal. He should have made more with that opportunity. But defensively, he was all right. I'll give him a 7. Cucurella, didn't do much wrong. Just standard, performance. I'll give him a 7. Midfield, Caicedo, 7. Again, put out a lot of fires. Tried to do, being the guy who's able to bring us from the first phase, recovering. Look, Caicedo is a beast, but maybe not his best performance in recent times, but still a solid Caicedo performance. I'll give him a 7. Enzo gets a 4 for me. Just wasn't involved, just wasn't helping in anything, just there. It was damn near like we're playing 10 against 11. He just looked lethargic. Like, he looked like Gyökeres was looking in that Arsenal game, just heavy. He didn't look light on his feet. But Enzo is going to come through this, so I ain't been tripping about that. Palmer, 6. Created a few opportunities, but didn't really do much, wasn't as involved. So he gets a 6. Gittins gets a 4. Just struggled to really get into the game for me. Neto, I give him a 5. Put in some really dangerous crosses, actually. But other than that, could have been a bit better, with his output as well. I give him a 5. Joao Pedro, 5. Didn't really get involved in the game much. So he gets a 5 for me. Delap gets a 6. Came in a bit active, had an opportunity, he created that chance for Andre Santos with a nice little, touch to Cucurella, cut back. Santos messed it up. So I give Delap, a 6.5. Santos, 5. Could have been 8 if he scored that winner, but he didn't really put much, he didn't really do much wrong now, did he? Just didn't score that goal. Gusto came in. Gusto, stop taking those shots. Please. Like, stop. Especially not in those areas. I'm begging you, just don't do it. Recycle the ball and let's be dangerous a bit. Esteval, I give him a 6.5. Came in very bright, energetic, like added some much needed, excitement to the team because it felt like it was going stale. He added a bit to it. But yeah, and Maresca for me today gets a 6. I really don't know what he could have done much because that was a lineup I was expecting. Maybe he could have tweaked something. That's why he's a manager. I'm not sure, but I'd give him a 6. I don't think he could have really done much. If Chalobah took his chance, and Santos took that chance, now we're talking a different game. But Maresca for me is 6. But guys, like the video, sub to the channel, hop in the comments, let me know how you feel. Could have been better. 0-0. We move. But yeah, man, no need to overreact. No need to lose your mind yet. It's just game week 1. 37 more of them games to go, so we'll be all right. But people, I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.